Welcome to the Enterprise Wireless LAN Screencast series for troubleshooting tips. Customizing Wireshark. Wireshark is an open source packet analyzer that has been around for many years. It can be freely downloaded at wireshark.net. Another great resource is the Wireshark Network Analysis book by Laura Chappell, which can be found at wiresharkbook.com. In this screencast, I will demonstrate customizing Wireshark specifically for 802.11 packet analysis so that the display is a little more user-friendly and thus more efficient. Topics covered in this screencast are defining a Wi-Fi profile, configuring custom display columns, and creating color-coded filters that will be automatically applied to matching packet types. Here I've opened a capture I took last week. This is the default view in Wireshark. The default view is the default profile. If you look in the lower right hand corner of Wireshark, it displays the profile that's currently applied, in this case the default. So when you want to set Wireshark up for wireless analysis, first thing you want to do is create yourself a profile for 802.11. So go up to Edit and Configuration Profiles. There you can see the default profile. Click on New and then type in a name for your new profile. In this case I'll use Wi-Fi. Now when you create a new profile, it's just creating a copy of the default, so it's going to have all the same properties. So right now all we've done is cloned the default profile and renamed it to Wi-Fi, and we're going to apply that now. Now if you look in the lower right hand corner, the profile shows as Wi-Fi. So now any changes we make to our interface will be made to that profile. Anytime you change profiles, you'll have the view that you created with that specific profile. The next thing I like to do is change my display columns so that they're more relevant to 802.11 packets. You can do this simply by right-clicking on any of the headings and then click on Column Preferences. Your columns show up here. These are all the existing columns. So all we're going to do is add a new one, and the first one I'm going to create I'll call Freq, F-R-E-Q, for frequency. There's already a frequency and channel field type in Wireshark defined, so we can apply that. The next one I like to create is RSSI. There's also a built-in type for this, so we have to find IEEE 802.11 RSSI right here. Finally, the last one I like to create is I'll call rate for transmit rate. Go to the field type down here, look for 802.11 TX rate for transmit rate. And then you click Apply. Once you apply those, since they are at the end of our list here, then they show up automatically at the end of your display columns. I don't like them in this position. I like info always to be last and this stuff to be more up front, so you can just click and drag them to the position that you want them in. Grab our last one. Then I kind of go through and resize these columns so that I can see all the information easily without having it too crunched together. I don't care if the info field gets crunched up a little bit. As you resize these, it will automatically squeeze the last column down. So now I've got the default number column, which is for the packet number, time, which is relative to from the time of starting the capture to the time of end, source and destination addresses, the protocol, which is 802.11 in this case. We've got our frequency, which it recognizes as a BG channel 11. We've got our RSSI, the transmit rate for each of these packets, and then our info field. Next thing I like to do is to create color-coded filters. If you look at the display I have now, everything's just white. There's nothing applied to these, and so I have to specifically go through and look at each packet and figure out what I'm looking at. If you defined specific characteristics for the packets and applied them as color filters, then these packets become colorized as they match those rules that you build. This makes it much easier to know what you're looking at and to quickly pick out retries or low data rates or whatever. So I'll show you those now. Start by clicking on the editing coloring rules icon. You can see all the defaults that are here, and these are just a bunch of defaults that Wireshark comes with. So some of these may apply, some of them may not apply. It all depends on the type of traffic you're looking at, what kind of packets you're looking at. I'm going to click on New, and one of the first ones I like to create is a retry color filter to see how many retries I'm seeing on my wireless LAN. So I click in retry for the name. Most of the information I've found that I want to filter on is based on the radio tap header. You can build all your filters out of there typically, unless there's specific data you're looking for. You might have to drill a little deeper into the packet, but for the most part, since we're mostly dealing with layer 2, that's typically where you're going to be looking. So I'll start with the retry, which is WLAN.fc for frame control .retry. And as you can see, as I'm typing these, the drop-down box shows predefined field types. So you can scroll down those and pick whichever one you want. In this case, retry. If I scroll down to retry there, it shows me the correct syntax. So I know it's .retry. And as I'm typing, notice my string field is pink initially. When it's pink like that, it's letting you know that your syntax is not correct yet. But as I keep going, now it's correct up to that point. 2 equal signs is a hard equals. It means specifically these packets. I specify 1 for true. Now I'm going to define the colors. Start with my background color. And I'm using the same colors I always use anytime I set up Wireshark in this manner. It's my background color. Now I'll create my foreground color. Now that might look kind of hideous, but the point is that these packets jump out at me. When I see them, I know specifically what they are. Every time I set up Wireshark, I try to use the same filters, same color backgrounds, color foregrounds. That way I memorize these filters, and I know just from looking at them, I've got a lot of retries in my capture. The next one I like to create is low SNR, low signal to noise ratio. Filter for that is radio tap.db underscore antenna or ant signal. And I like to do a less than or equal to 19. Now the 19 represents your SNR, the delta between your signal level and your noise level. You can put any number in that you like. I choose 19 all the time. I'll create my background colors and foreground colors. In this case, I use a white foreground color. Again, it's ugly, but it's very contrasting and it sticks out, and I know what it's for. So you can see my retry, my low signal to noise ratio filter. So the next three I always create are my channel filters for the 2.4 gigahertz range, channels 1, 6, and 11. So I'll call this first one channel 1. The filter is radio tap dot channel dot frequency FREQ equals 2412 for channel 1. Then I'll create my colors. Okay, so now I've created my filters and they're all at the bottom of my screen. Now these filters are similar to access lists. They're applied in sequence. So apply the filters in the order that they match. Since this profile is specific to wireless, I want to move all these up to the top. So I can highlight all of them by clicking the first one, holding the shift key down, clicking the bottom one, and then clicking the up arrow, up button, until I get them to the top. Now remember to take notice of the order that you place your filters in, and recall that they are sequential. The first match is what's going to get applied to the packet. Now as I hit apply, you can see in the background that those filters have now been applied to all my packets. So I've got several channel 11 packets. All of these are, in fact, because that's what I was capturing on. I've got a retry packet here that jumps out at me, and these are several low SNR packets that jump out at me. Here I can see I have a whole bunch of retries, so that's going to signify some problem. But again, this is quick customizing I like to do to Wireshark for 802.11 packet analysis. Now, something else you can do is in Wireshark, as you're analyzing the packet, you can click on these fields, the field types, and analyze the data, but also you can build quick filters based on the data in the packet that you're viewing. So in this case, I've got a data rate of 19.5 megabytes. Say I want to view all the packets that are 20 megabit per second and slower. I can right click on this, say prepare as a filter, and it's going to populate this filter field. This is for display filters. So it's populated with radio tap dot data rate equals 19.5 because that's what that specific one was. But I can change this, take away one of the equal signs and put a less than or equal to, and specify 20 megabit. Now by applying that, it will only show me now the packets that were at 20 megabits or slower, and all my previous color filters that I defined applied to those packets that are now being displayed based on this display filter I've built. Well, I hope this screencast has been helpful. Wireshark can be downloaded at wireshark.net, and I really recommend the book Wireshark Network Analysis by Laura Chappell. It's a fantastic book. It's a huge book. It just came out a little over a year ago, about a year ago. It's a fantastic book. It doesn't just cover wireless network troubleshooting and packet analysis, but packet analysis in general using Wireshark. It's a very in-depth book, and I highly recommend it. Thank you.